Hey, it's Tyler. Ubiquiti has released Protect 6.1 for their camera system, so let's take a look at the blog and see some of the new items. If you don't know, Ubiquiti has a blog site. It's blog.ui.com. I highly recommend checking it out every time there's a new release because they have a whole article about everything that has been changed or updated or what's new. So here on their site, Unifi Protect 6.1 introduces groundbreaking updates to alarms, cameras, and Internet of Things devices. Centralized alarm control, camera tampering, people counting triggers, and alarm profiles. Advanced camera imaging and bitrate. So it's a redesigned camera imaging engine, provides unprecedented control over video quality. With precise bitrate tuning, users can now set exact minimum and maximum thresholds for each camera, ensuring consistent performance across different environments. Set exact minimum and maximum bitrate for each camera. ROI encoding for sharper detail and focus zones, and optimized video quality in high motion backgrounds. ROI is region of interest, so encoding further enhances clarity by directing available bitrate to specific zones. Looks like they've updated the Find Anything tool, so faster event reporting with reduced latency, improved face recognition with higher sensitivity, and the smarter Find Anything. And then they introduced the G6 Pro Bullet camera, which has a 1/1.2 inch 8 megapixel 4K sensor, which is their biggest sensor that they have. So it should have really good low light. It has a 2.36 times optical zoom, so that's interesting. It doesn't have a 3 times zoom, but 2.36, which I guess with the 4K and the bigger sensor, this 2.36 makes up for not having a 3 times optical. And this is first release in the high performance G6 lineup, so there must be more I guess high-end G6 cameras coming. And now they're starting to release the SuperLink devices. So these first 2 devices, this is a sensor, so it senses humidity, temperature, light, and leak detection. Instant setup with the SuperLink gateway. And then they have a PoE siren that has 110 decibels. It's an all-weather alarm. So that's the end of the article. So let's go over a few of these things. So smarter alarm management. So let's take a look at that in Protect here. So if I come down here to Alarm Manager, we can see a lot of the normal alarms that are already baked in to Unifi Protect. We can create an alarm. We can view notifications here. This trigger activity is new. I don't have any alarms technically set except for like normal, if a device goes offline or something like that. So I'm not quite exactly sure what this trigger activity is yet, but I'll have to look at that more. We can look at alarms that were last triggered within a certain amount of time. You've got status, alarm profiles, what kind of trigger, what kind of action, and then devices, and then hits within, the last 24 hours. So it allows you to narrow down the certain alarms that you set. So let's create an alarm here. There's AI. So we can, since I have the AI key, I can type in a keyword. So, show a black Honda. And then I want it to be more precise. And that way I don't get, false alarms. And it says 6 estimated daily hits. We can add another trigger. We can do a schedule. So let's say I want to know when this car comes in between 8, we'll do 8:15 to noon on Monday. So we've got the parking lot cameras, And we're going to notify me. We can add an action after that as well. So if we want a webhook, send an email, anything like that. But we're going to keep it regular and then ignore repeated actions. So I just want to know that they're on site. I don't want to know every single time they drive around the parking lot within, a minute. I don't want to have all those notifications. So I'm going to ignore repeated actions for 10 minutes. And then I can hit test alarm. But we're just going to create this one. So we'll say black Honda test. And then we're going to create. We can see that up here at the top, black Honda test. And this will tell us kind of a history, how many hits have happened in the last 24 hours, when it was last triggered. It was created by me, and I'm always going to get notifications. Another alarm that would be useful is with the new siren that they just came out with. Unfortunately, I don't have one. I would have to purchase it. But maybe in the future, when SuperLink is built out, the building may want to implement the siren. Not quite sure, but if I wanted to have an alarm for that siren, I could do activity. Actually, we're going to do objects, person, and then let's say, during the week, if a person's on site between midnight and 5 a.m., and then, I could do that for every day because nobody's supposed to be on site at that time. So it can act like, a break-in alarm, I suppose. So I set the time that I want. I'm going to include all of these cameras except for the outdoor ones, because I just want to know if someone is in the building between midnight and 5 a.m. So we're going to notify me, and we can do custom content. So, I can send myself a specified message in the app, but we're going to do default. And then we're also, if we had the siren, we would do sound, and then we would select the PoE siren. And then I'm going to ignore the repeated actions for every minute. So that way I don't get constant repeated notifications. But if someone is moving about the building, then every minute I'll get a notification. So anyway, if we had the siren, we would enable that here. So I'm going to take the siren off, and then we can hit create. I didn't name it. It just says new alarm. So here we have that alarm. So detect a person on 22 devices, and then notify. And I can edit that here. So I'm going to go ahead and remove that. Another alarm, we have people counting triggers for advanced monitoring. So I can create an alarm here, and then activity and line crossing, and then count. So trigger when the count exceeds 10 people within an hour. And then we're going to always schedule that. And let's say we're doing the foyer, and notify me, and then we can create that. One of the updates is tamper detection. So if I come here to this G6 instant, it says detects if the camera is physically moved or obstructed, logged as a timeline event, and can trigger alarms or automation, recommended for security critical installations. So I can enable tamper detection there, and then if the camera is moved, if I set up an alarm for that, then I'll get a notification. So we're not going to set that up right now. So the next thing, advanced camera imaging and bitrate control. So let's take a look at that. So if I come to the devices, and let's look at the foyer. So here on the smart zone, enhanced zone bitrate, it says improved video quality in this zone, may reduce quality outside the zone to save bandwidth. Slider adjusts how much clearer the enhanced zone is compared to the background. Will disable dynamic ROI bitrate for this device. And right now it says zone size exceeds the supported limit. Reduce the area to apply clarity based on detections across the full view. So I guess I don't need the wall. It doesn't really matter as far as the walls go. I don't need super high bitrate there. Okay, so this is going to be the critical area. So it looks like I can enhance the zone now. So it's low and high. But what exactly does that mean? Slider adjusts how much clearer the enhanced zone is compared to the background. Huh. So if I hit save, what does that do? Oh. So we can see the pixelation up here. And we can see pixelation up top here. But this area is more clear. Interesting. Which is technically fine because I don't need, high bit rate on these walls. Huh, that's cool. Let's try it on one of the outdoor cameras. And I need to readjust this camera, but for right now, we'll be fine. So I don't need this wall, and I don't need the sky, but I do need the parking lot. Same over here. I don't need the flower bed. Okay, so enhance zone bitrate. We're going to go all the way up again. Let me adjust this here, so we don't need this wall, but we do need... Oh, it won't let me do another one. Bummer. Huh, I was hoping it would let me do more. I guess not. Oh, there we go. I just gotta get creative. Okay, so we'll hit save. And if we take a look at this image, we could definitely see the line here. So the top is lower bit rate, bottom is the higher bit rate. You can see the flower bed is low quality, but you can see where the change is. This wall is low quality. So this is interesting. I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this yet. This is an AI Pro, so if I zoom in, it does keep those lines, even though I'm zoomed in. So let's take off the enhanced zoom. No, it's still the same. I don't know, so I guess it is not as blurry. I'm really intrigued by this. So we're on high quality. This tree is pretty pixelated. So if I come back and edit the zone, change the bitrate, is this more clear? You know, we can see the line here. I just don't know. Maybe it is a little sharper. Let's see if there's another camera we can play with here. Okay, here's another outside camera. And we don't need the sky, and we don't need that field. But I do want that barn. And then we just have the sidewalk. Okay, so we've got this immediate area and the sidewalk and that barn. Enhanced bitrate. Go high. Okay. So the field out there is a lot more compressed. But I think this image is clearer. Let's take it off. I don't know, it's hard to tell. I don't know, what do you all think? Is it a clear image? Again, we can see the line difference here. So we just did the region of interest. Encoding further enhances clarity by directing available bitrate to specific zones. Looks like they've improved face recognition and updated the find anything. So let's take a look at a little bit of this footage. We've got me here. I am going around and checking some of the doors to make sure they are locked. And so, just for kicks, let's look at the next AI summary from the AI key. A man stands in a well-lit, colorful playroom with children's toys and furniture. The room features wooden floors, which they're concrete, tables, chairs, and various activities like a kitchen area visible in the background. I mean, that's not too bad. It's just cabinets and a sink. It's not a kitchen. But it's definitely not wooden floors. These are concrete floors. But we can see here it highlighted me. So if I click on myself, it's going to search for me in the footage and find me, you know, in a different area of the building or different cameras. That is not me. That is somebody else. So if I do precise, it doesn't see anything. If I do more broad, it's that same person and then somebody else. So it's not finding me in the other footage. So far I don't see any improvement on this as of yet. So that's everything in this current blog post, this newest article. It looks like you'll be able to arm the system and unarm it when you want to from the mobile app. So that's really cool. One more thing I want to do is create a person counting line. So if I come back to my cameras, let's go to the foyer. And I want to create a crossing line. I want to see how well this counts people as they cross these lines. So we can do direction A and B, so it'll count both ways. So leaving, so coming and going, A to B or B to A. So let's move this up here. So we're going to reset the count monthly on the first day of the month at 12 a.m. We'll call this front door. Hit save on that. Unable to save this change, please try again. Okay. What is happening? Okay. I'm showing you like it is, people. Sometimes these things happen. It's software, so it's not going to be perfect. Okay, front door, direction A to B, or A and B. We're going to reset it each month at the first day. We don't need animal or vehicle, we just need person. Save. Unable to save this change. Okay, well, I tried, but it won't let me save. I'm going to refresh the page. Try this again. Okay, front door, A and B, person only, reset monthly, save. Still says unable to save this change. That's a bummer. Well, thanks for watching my video. I was hoping to end on that line crossing, but seems to not work. So I'll try again in a couple days and see if I can get it to work. But thanks for watching, and I'll see you on the next one.